At my daughter's wedding, I learned the hard way what family really means. I stood in the bridal suite, adjusting my daughter Sarah's veil for the last time, when I noticed my husband whispering urgently into his phone. He quickly hung up when he saw me watching. That should have been my first warning. But mothers don't suspect their own families on what's supposed to be the happiest day of their lives, do they? My name is Rebecca, I'm 53 years old, and I thought I knew what family meant. I was about to learn the truth in the most devastating way possible. The ceremony was perfect. Sarah glowed as she walked down the aisle, and I dabbed tears from my eyes. Happy tears, I thought. My son David, 28, stood as best man, looking handsome in his tuxedo. James, my husband, squeezed my hand during the vows, and I squeezed back, thinking how blessed we were. If only I'd known what was waiting for me in the next 3 hours. At the reception, James kept checking his watch. "Are you okay?" he asked. He smiled that familiar smile I'd trusted for 30 years. "Just making sure everything stays on schedule, honey. You know me." I did know him. Or so I believed. During dinner, David came to our table, leaning down between James and me. "Mom, Dad needs to talk to you privately. It's about the venue payment. There's been some confusion." My stomach dropped. Confusion. I paid that months ago. David's eyes wouldn't meet mine. "Just come with us for a second." If only I'd refused right then and there. James led me toward a private room off the main hall. My heels clicked against the marble floor, and suddenly I felt cold despite my elegant dress. David followed behind us, and I noticed his hand trembling. "What's going on?" I demanded, stopping in the hallway. James opened the door, and inside stood a woman I'd never seen before. Mid-40s, blonde, with a manila folder clutched against her chest like a shield. Behind her was a man in a gray suit who looked distinctly uncomfortable. "Rebecca," James said, his voice different now, harder, colder. "This is Amanda, and that's her attorney, Mr. Kellerman." The world tilted slightly. "Attorney? James, what is this?" Amanda stepped forward. "Mrs. Rebecca, I'm sorry to meet you this way. But your husband and I have been together for 7 years. 7 years. The words hit me like bullets. If only that had been the worst of it. "You're insane," I whispered, looking at James. "Tell her she's insane." But James wouldn't look at me. David stood by the door, blocking my exit, his face pale. "Mom," David said quietly. "Just listen." You knew. The betrayal of that moment. My own son, it physically hurt. My chest tightened, my breath coming in short gasps. Amanda continued, her voice almost apologetic. "Your husband has been supporting me and our daughter." "Daughter?" I couldn't breathe. "You have a child." "She's 6, James said, finally meeting my eyes. "Her name is Emma." The room spun. 30 years of marriage. 30 years of loyalty, of building a life together. And he had another child. Another family. But that still wasn't why they'd brought me here. If only I'd understood the danger I was in. Mr. Kellerman cleared his throat. "Mrs. Rebecca, we've asked you here to discuss an urgent financial matter. Your husband has accumulated significant debt supporting 2 households. The creditors are coming for everything." "Let them," I spat. "He made this mess." "That's the thing, Mom," David said, his voice breaking. "Everything is in your name. The house, the business, your inheritance from Grandma. Dad put it all in your name years ago for tax purposes. Remember?" The memory slammed into me. Years ago. James insisting we restructure everything. His accountant explaining it would save us thousands. I'd signed every paper he put in front of me because I trusted him. "You're going to sign these papers," James said, no warmth lft in his voice. "You're going to transfer 50% of everything to me, and then I'm filing for divorce. If you refuse, I'll make sure everyone knows about your father." My blood turned to ice. My father. "The money your parents left you wasn't exactly clean, was it? I found the papers in your mother's safe after she died. The tax evasion, the offshore accounts. If only I'd known that secret would be used as a weapon against me. You'd destroy me, I asked, my voice barely audible. After everything. Sign the papers, Rebecca, Amanda said, surprisingly gentle. We don't want to hurt you. We just need to protect Emma's future. David finally spoke up, tears in his eyes. Mom, I'm sorry. Dad said if I helped him, he'd pay for my medical school debt. I owe $300,000. I can't breathe under it anymore. My son, my baby boy, reduced to this. I looked at the papers on the table. Everything I'd worked for. My mother's legacy. The business I'd built from nothing. All about to be stolen by the people who were supposed to love me. There's champagne here, James said, gesturing to a bottle on the side table. Sign the papers, have a drink, compose yourself, and go back to the reception. No one needs to know. Sarah gets her perfect day. The champagne. Something about it caught my attention. The way they all glanced at it. The way Mr. Kellerman shifted uncomfortably. If only I hadn't noticed that look in Amanda's eyes. A flicker of guilt that told me everything. You're going to poison me, I said flatly. The room went silent. Don't be dramatic, James said, but his voice cracked. That's the plan, isn't it? My mind raced, pieces falling into place. I sign the papers, have a drink, go back to the party, and what? Collapse during the father-daughter dance. Heart attack. Everyone would be so sympathetic to poor James, losing his wife on his daughter's wedding day. Mom, no, David started, but I saw the truth in his face. Amanda backed toward the door. This wasn't, I didn't know. Shut up, James snapped at her, and in that moment, I saw the man I'd married disappear completely, replaced by something monstrous. You won't leave this room without signing, he said, moving toward me. One way or another. But they'd made one critical mistake. If only they'd known what I'd been hiding too. 6 months earlier, Sarah had confided something to me. She'd seen her father having coffee with a blonde woman and a little girl. She'd felt confused, worried. I'd hired a private investigator. Not because I didn't trust James, but because I needed to protect my daughter's peace of mind before her wedding. The investigator, Linda Chen, had uncovered everything. The affair. The second family. The debts. Plan. And she'd also uncovered something else. The small recording device I now wore as a necklace. This entire conversation has been recorded, I said quietly, touching the pearl pendant at my throat. And it's streaming live to my attorney, who's waiting in a car outside with 2 police officers. James lunged for me, but the door burst open. 2 uniformed officers rushed in, with Linda right behind them. Rebecca, are you all right? Linda asked, positioning herself between me and James. The look on James's face, pure rage mixed with disbelief, would have been satisfying if it wasn't so terrifying. If only that had been the end of it. David collapsed against the wall, sobbing. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. He said it would just be a divorce, just papers. I didn't know about the rest. I swear I didn't know. I wanted to comfort him, but I couldn't move. Officers were handcuffing James and Amanda. Mr. Kellerman was frantically explaining he'd had no knowledge of any criminal intent. The champagne, one officer said, carefully bagging the bottle. We'll need to test this. Later, I would learn it contained enough sedatives to stop my heart, disguised as a celebration drink. James had planned every detail. The confusion at the venue. The private room. Pressure. Poison. He would have gotten everything. My money, my business, sympathy from everyone who knew us. And I would have been dead. Just another tragic story of a mother who didn't survive seeing her daughter married. I returned to the reception 20 minutes later. Sarah was laughing with her new husband, radiant and unaware. I decided she would stay that way, for tonight at least. Tomorrow I would tell her everything. Tomorrow I would begin rebuilding my life as a single woman, watching my husband face attempted murder charges. Tomorrow I would decide whether to forgive David, who'd been manipulated but still made terrible choices. But tonight I danced with my daughter. I toasted to love and family. And I held on to the real truth I'd learned. Family isn't defined by blood or marriage certificates. It's defined by who shows up when you need them most. It's defined by Linda, the private investigator who became my guardian angel. By Sarah, who'd trusted her instincts enough to tell me what she'd seen. By my real attorney, who'd believed me when I'd shared my fears. James had taught me what family wasn't. Everyone else taught me what it was. If you've stayed with me through this story, thank you. Hit that subscribe button and remember, trust your instincts. When something feels wrong, it probably is. And protect yourself, always. The people closest to you can sometimes be the ones you need protection from. I learned what family really means at my daughter's wedding. I just wish it hadn't nearly cost me my life to figure it out.